It's a good precedent, and I get it. There was some money involved, and everyone likes a little bit of money, but it doesn't mean that you're sending Indiana Jones out to get more treasure. It means you're finding a way to use the stuff you've already got stashed, right?
We are outperforming Michelle Obama's new podcast, so at least that's exciting. But some staggering numbers on that if you haven't looked at that.
Welcome to the Crypto Swamp Creatures, the show you never knew you needed and still don't want anyways. I'm Christopher Alexander, your blockchain and advocacy communications expert.
And I'm Justin Wallin, your guide through the often murky world of politics and polling.
Every week, we dive into the intersection of crypto, policy, and politics without taking sides. We're here to give you the straight, data-driven analysis that influences the decisions of those who want to win or want to be elected.
Think of it as a late 80s newscast, but with a twist. We bring you the serious stuff, but with a dash of sardonic wit and just a hint of irreverence.
So whether you're a crypto enthusiast, a policy wonk, or just someone who appreciates a data-driven approach, this is your place.
We bring you both sides, weigh the impact on crypto, and then we share what we use for show prep every week on our medium.
So remember, no one is as smart as someone who agrees with you. And now get ready to enter the no swamp zone.
Welcome to the Crypto Swamp Creatures. I mean, Justin, so much happens all the time. We just decided not to do episodes. But I don't know that strategy worked. Again, I'm not an expert in statistics, you are, but there does seem to be a correlation between our episodes and the price of Bitcoin going up. We stop, Bitcoin goes down. So if you really want to make money in cryptocurrency, I think the clear lesson here is you need to watch our show.
These are facts.
Yeah, and I think we are outperforming Michelle Obama's new podcast, so at least that's exciting. But some staggering numbers on that if you haven't looked into that. Anyways, amidst a whirlwind of things from the White House, there was a crypto summit on March 6th. It seems like maybe we're not going to have a crypto council that's going to do a lot. Instead, we're going to do these summits. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. But I don't know that the Trump administration is as focused on cryptocurrency right now as people might have hoped. I'm not faulting them for that. You kind of have some large issues, tariff war, shooting war with Houthis, a lot going on that makes Coinbase reporting your currency transactions to the IRS perhaps a little lower down on the totem pole. I'm sorry to say that, Bitcoin folks. But nevertheless, some big stuff happened. And not only did it happen at the federal level, there's been some interesting developments at the local level as well. So to start, we have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And it has two really interesting points. One, it's not a Bitcoin reserve. And two, it's a digital assets reserve. And two, we did sort of predict this. It is entirely about seized Bitcoin, not about buying it.
Right. It's repurposing. You got a whole bunch of stuff. It's sitting anywhere. Do you want it to just sit somewhere like that big cavernous thing in Raiders of the Lost Ark and do nothing? Or repurpose it to something that may potentially have some value in some way, shape, or form. But it doesn't mean that you're sending Indiana Jones out to get more treasure. It means you're finding a way to use the stuff you've already got stashed, right?
Yes, and I hope someone has a sense of humor. And they, but I found the federal contract for this. It's storing the cryptocurrency on cold wallets. I think Coinbase has the contract right now, but you store them. I hope they put that thing in Area 51. It's like going to be by the Ark of the Covenant and some alien organs.
Great.
So there is an interesting element to this executive order, and that is you can buy Bitcoin, as I understand it, if it's revenue neutral for the Treasury. You cannot do that for the other assets they want to hold. And not to give myself too much credit, but I would like to point out the assets that they hold are the ones that I happen to hold. Bitcoin, Cardano, XRP, Ethereum, and Solana. Maybe I said Solana twice, but yeah.
I'm thrilled to hear that the administration got your memo. But you used a term that I want to make sure is clear for anyone who might be listening, and that is revenue neutral. What does that mean in terms of Bitcoin, or in terms of crypto? Excuse me.
I don't think anyone knows.
Term, and it's about something that is very closely tied to values different from revenue.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, and I mean application. I don't think anyone knows. I think we've got to get our former attorney general hotline opened up, and I'll ask Ken Cuccinelli. But revenue neutral says you can't go into the negative buying anything. That's not the same as saying you can't buy anything. And I have a little pet theory. This is based on absolutely nothing, and maybe an incorrect reading. But I have to wonder, if the Treasury were to mine Bitcoin and use its IT budget to mine the Bitcoin and argue that it has some stabilizing function, the hash rate helps the Chinese from gaining an advantage in mining through the difficulty. This would get really technical to fully explain, but maybe it opens the door for Bitcoin mining for the government. I can't think of another revenue neutral approach other than perhaps selling the other digital assets and buying Bitcoin with it. That's about the only other way I can figure it could work.
Well, so what does this strategic reserve look like? And there has been some squeaking about the government's role in a strategic reserve, while the president is an active player within crypto, and everything about that squeaking, going from how does this look, what are the optics, to is there a serious conflict of interest of anything meaningful? What's your take on that?
Well, Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. So, you're definitely failing on that test. The answer is wonkish. As a comms guy, it's one of those things you would say and no one would remember or care about, but is compelling. The answer is the World Liberty financial project that Trump has is for accredited investors. So the type of market making that you would be concerned about for World Liberty, not an issue. The Trump meme coin gets very close to the edge, very much that sort of Clinton, I'm going to go right up to the edge of what's allowed. And so someone could definitely interpret as illegal. Like it's kind of that same school. I think it's a bad idea, but I don't think it's inherently illegal.
Yeah, I think it's got terrible optics. There's no question about that. It's there are reasons why presidents and high-level elected officials attempt to separate themselves from certain kinds of investments when they're in the business of regulating those investments or passing any kind of influence on those investments. And this is very much an in-your-face. This is giving the finger, and intentionally giving the finger. Whether there are legal implications on that are enforceable, I agree with you. I doubt, but I don't think it's a good precedent. And I get it. There was some money involved, and everyone likes a little bit of money. But this would be one of those things that I think is not appropriate for the presidency.
It's not. So the U.S. government basically has said we're not going to be anywhere near market making. We're not buying Bitcoin. I hope Elizabeth Warren's right and every terrorist ever just walks around with a bunch of Bitcoin, because we are about to pay our debt down in a spectacular way, unlikely on all counts. But nevertheless, that's interesting. There was one other interesting development. Texas passed a strategic, by the way, they're not Bitcoin reserves. Saying Bitcoin's like saying Coca-Cola. And I know this enrages the Bitcoin maxis who hate everything else that's not Bitcoin. But the fact is, it's a digital asset reserve. Same thing in Texas. It's what they call them. They don't call them Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is the star of the show, as Coca-Cola is the premier soft drink. But in Texas, it's a little bit different. In Texas, you can buy Bitcoin. Or let me rephrase it. The state of Texas can buy Bitcoin and hold it. And I'm not clear when they can sell it. That wasn't, and same thing in Trump's executive order. You're kind of prohibited from selling it. So I guess you need another executive order to sell it. So cue Democrats emptying the thing as soon as they can, since we're playing the executive order game these days. Not sure on the Texas legality, but where Texas is interesting is there's a market cap that the digital asset has to have for the state of Texas to buy it. And there is only one cryptocurrency right now with the market cap that meets the threshold for the state of Texas, which, as you can guess, is Bitcoin. So Texas is buying Bitcoin, and you may shrug your shoulders at that and say, well, the U.S. isn't. But I think Texas is the 9th largest economy on earth.
Yeah, it's not significant. If they're making investments, there's a huge change.
So put in other terms, for all the Bitcoin people that lost their mind because El Salvador went to some kind of a Bitcoin standard, and that's a little different from strategic treasury or reserve. But if you were excited about El Salvador, you should be a lot more excited about what happened in Texas. I don't think they've mapped out how much they're going to buy or what they're going to allocate, but it's huge. And it's someone I met, went to a very large city here about a mining opportunity with them. It's the Texas Blockchain Council. Lee Bratcher's guys that run it. He's also an Army guy. Amazing work, just amazing work that they got this passed. And it's going to be very interesting to see if Texas sees the sort of benefits that El Salvador has. Again, different implementation, but similar concept.
Interesting to see. We will watch.
And that's all for this week on the Crypto Swamp Creatures.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the intersection of crypto, politics, and policy.
Remember, the data doesn't lie, and neither do we. Well, not about anything important anyways.
Until next time, stay informed, stay skeptical, stay out of the swamp.